Alright, hello everyone. How are you all doing? Lately I've been taking suggestions about what kind of content to post here, and out of all the requests that I received, most of them were based on one of the three. That is, so one of the requests was to do solution videos to the CSCS problem set, and the other was to do some problem solving based on graphs, and the others included talking a little bit about dynamic programming. So I thought, why not to combine all the three, right? So today I'm going to be discussing a problem which is based on DP with bit masks on graphs from the CSCS problem set, right? So this problem is called Hamiltonian flights, and it is from the graph algorithm section of CSCS, and it is a really nice problem, and it is a good problem as an introduction to DP with bit masking, right? Okay, so obviously there are going to be some prerequisites to this video. So you should have basic knowledge about what a graph is and how the adjacency list representation of a graph works, right? And secondly, you should have the basic understanding of dynamic programming. Like, you don't need to know what is DP with bit masking because I will be talking a little bit about it. So if you don't know about bit masking, then it is all right, but you should have a little bit of knowledge about DP, right? So these are the two small prerequisites for this video. And before jumping into the problem, I am going to be talking a little bit about bit masking, which is a general technique. And after that, we'll jump right to the problem, right? So let's just begin by talking about bit masking, right? So generally, when you are solving a problem with DP, the state of your DP is just a number, right? It is mainly some index. For example, if you are doing the longest increasing subsequence problem, your state DP of I represents the length of the longest increasing subsequence, which ends at the ith index, right? So here I is just a number. So your state is just a number. And that is good because we want the state to be a number because that is how we can store it in a table, right? We want to store numbers. That is what the essence of DP is. So we want numbers, like we like numbers. And sometimes it so happens that we want our state to be a subset instead of a number, right? And to represent subset, one way is to just use a set, right? We just use a set and insert all the numbers in it. But the problem with that is we can't store a set in a table, right? We need a number to store, right? So the problem can be solved by writing the subset in the form of a number, that is representing the subset as a number. And what we are going to do is we are going to use the fact that every number has a unique binary representation, and using this fact we are going to write every subset in the form of a number, right? So the fact which we are going to use is that every number has a unique binary representation, right? And using this fact we are going to represent a subset in the form of a number. And let's take an example, right? So let's say we have an array like this, 5 4 3 2 1, right? And from this array we need to choose a subset which is this 5 3 1, right? So one way is to just make a set and insert 5 3 1 in it, but that won't be helpful if we are doing DP and this is a state of our DP, right? We need some way to represent this subset as a number, right? And one way to represent it is to insert ones in place of 5 3 1 and zeros in place of 4 and 2, and that is to say, do something like this. So this number which I have written here, this sequence of numbers, this just directly represents this subset, right? Because all the positions where there is a 1, I can say that that is an element which is included in my subset, and at all the positions where there is a 0, I can say that that is the element which is not included in my subset, right? And here I can say that I can see that the elements at position 0, 2 and 4 have a 1, and those elements are just 1, 3 and 5, right? And what I realize is that this sequence of numbers is nothing but the binary representation of a decimal number, right? So this is nothing but 21, right? If you like, this is nothing but the decimal, in the decimal equivalent 10101 is nothing but 21, right? It is nothing but 21. So what I have done here is I have taken the subset, and at the positions of elements which are included in my subset I have put a 1, and at the positions which are not included in my subset, I have put a 0. And finally, I get a sequence of 1s and 0s. And what I realize is that this sequence is just a binary number, right? And there is going to be a decimal equivalent to every binary number, according to the fact that I just wrote, and it is going to be unique. So this subset can be represented by the decimal number of 21. And if I take another example of the subset of 2, 1, then it is nothing but 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, which is again nothing but 3, right? So this 531 subset can be represented by the decimal number 21. The subset 2, 1 can be represented by the decimal number 3. Similarly, all the subsets can be represented by a decimal number. And the amazing thing here is that we know that the number of subsets of a set of size n is 2 to the n, and from 0 to 2 to the n minus 1, again there are 2 to the n unique numbers, which is again helpful because it just guarantees that every subset will get a unique number, right? So now we have found a way to represent a subset in the form of a number, and that is what bit masking is, right? So it is a way to represent some information, and most of the time this information is nothing but a subset in the form of bits, right? And the thing which I did above is just an example of bit masking. I used these bits as a mask to represent a subset. All these bits have been used as a mask to represent this particular subset, right? Yeah, so this is what bit masking is. You use the bits to represent a subset, and now I know a way to write any subset in the form of a decimal number, and which is good because now I can do DP on subsets, right? Because I know that my state of DP can be a subset, because the subset can just be represented by its corresponding number in the binary representation. I just do the binary representation of the subset and just convert it to its decimal form. Similarly to what I did here, this 531 can be written as 21, this 21 can be written as 3. Similarly, all the unique subsets which I can get from this particular array, they have a unique decimal number representation, right? So yeah, this is all about bit masking that you need to know to study about DP with bit masking, right? Now you know how to represent a subset in the form of a number, and you can use it as a state in your DP, right? So yeah, with this done, let's move to the problem. I hope I was able to explain well what bit masking is and how you can represent a subset in the form of a number, right? Alright, so now let's look at the problem. It is called Hamiltonian flights from CSES problem set. And the problem says that there are n cities and m flight connections between them. So basically there are n nodes and m edges in a graph, and you want to travel from Syria to Lemia so that you visit each city exactly once, right? So you want to travel from node A to node B, visiting every node exactly once, right? There are n nodes, so you need to travel from node A to node B, and in the process you have to visit all the other nodes as well, and that too exactly once. And finally you have to tell how many possible ways are there to do that, right? You've been asked the possible number of routes, which is nothing but the total possible number of ways to do that, right? And you need to answer modulo 10 to the 9 plus 7, right? And here they have given us that the nodes A and B are nothing but the nodes 1 and n, right? So the problem boils down to finding out the number of ways to reach from city 1 to city n after visiting each city exactly once, right? And this is an input example, and let's see how to do it, right? So let's clearly write the problem statement once. It is a really interesting problem. So the problem states, find the number of ways to move from node 1 to node n, visiting each node from 1 to n exactly once, right? Yeah, so this is what the problem is stating. And of course we have discussed about bit masking, so that is what we are going to use here, right? So I'm going to define a DP state to solve this problem, and let's see how that DP state is going to help us and how finally we can get to the answer using the DP states, right? So I will define a DP, a 2D DP, where DP of mask comma I is equals to number of ways of reaching from node 1 to node I such that all the nodes which are in the subset which is represented by mask are visited exactly once and all other nodes are not visited at all, right? So as I talked about before, every number represents a subset, right? So this mask is just a number which is going to represent a subset. For example, if the mask is 3, it is going to represent this subset of 2, 1. If the mask is 21, it is going to represent the subset of numbers which are at the 4th, 2nd and the 0th position in our array, right? So here dp of mask I is representing. So similar to what I did here, mask will also be representing a subset. It is a number which will be representing a subset, right? So dp of mask I is nothing but the number of ways of reaching from node 1 to node I such that all the nodes which are in the subset which is represented by mask are visited exactly once, and all the nodes which are not in the subset represented by mask are not visited at all, right? So if this is the state of my DP, also I recommend you to pause this video for 2 minutes and try to comprehend what this state represents, and continue watching when you are done realizing what this state of DP is actually representing, right? And if you are done comprehending that, then you probably know what the final answer is going to be, right? So my final answer is going to be nothing but DP of 2 to the power n minus 1 comma n, and that is so because 2 to the power n minus 1 is nothing but 1 1 1 1 1 up till n times, and that just means that I have visited all the cities exactly once, and that is what the problem wants me to do, right? It wants me to visit all the cities exactly once, and the subset represented by 2 to the n minus 1 is also of all the cities, right? So the final answer is just going to be dp of 2 to the n minus 1 and n. Now let's talk about the transitions, and really the transitions are not that difficult to comprehend either, right? So first let's talk about the base case, what the base case is going to be here, right? So the base case is if I is equals to 1, then that just means that I am at my starting node, right? Then dp of mask I would be 1 when mask is 1, right? Because the only city which I have visited should be just the city 1, right? Because I have to visit every city exactly once, and otherwise it would be 0, right? Since I am starting from 1 and I can visit each city exactly once, I cannot come back to 1, right? So the only value of mask for which dp of mask I is feasible is mask is equals to 1, because the subset represented by mask is equals to 1. The subset here is 0 0 0 0 1, which just means that I have visited just the last city, which is the city number 1, right? Yeah, so with this base case done, now let's look about the more interesting cases, right? So I can reach node I from a particular node j only if there is a direct edge from j to I, right? So we can reach a node I only from a node j such that there is a direct edge from node j to node I, right? Okay, so let's see how we can get to a state of mask I, right? So my required state is mask I, right? And I have to come from another state to this state, and I have just established that I can come from a node j to node I such that there is an edge from j to I. So I'm going to iterate over all the nodes which have a direct edge from them to the ith node. But what about mask? What is the value of mask which is possible, right? So that is one thing, but before doing that, another thing to notice is that if the ith bit in mask is not set, it doesn't make any sense, right? So this point should come above. So before going into the transitions, one other thing to notice is that if the ith bit in mask is not set, this is just another base case, then dp of mask I would be 0, right? Because according to the definition of dp, all the nodes which are set in mask are the only nodes which have been visited, right? And if I am at the ith node, then obviously the ith node is visited. That means the ith bit in mask has to be set. So if that is not the case, then I would straight away say that dp of mask I is just 0. And moving on, I'll just be assuming that the ith bit of mask is set, right? So now that I am at a particular node j from which there is a direct edge to the ith node, I need to have a value of mask as well, right? So the feasible value of mask, from which I can get to this state of mask comma I is something, right? So let's say that mask is mask 1, right? So let's say I am at a state, so my previous state is mask 1 comma j. So I know that there is a direct edge from j to I that I have established, but I need to find this value of mask 1, right? Such that after I visit the ith node, the value of mask 1 turns into mask, right? So after visiting the node I, the value of mask 1 turns into mask, right? Only then there is a feasible transition from mask 1 comma j to mask comma I, right? And again, according to the condition in the problem, I know that I can visit each city exactly once. So if I am visiting the city I from a city j and my mask is mask 1, then obviously the ith bit in mask 1 cannot be set, right? Because I have yet to visit the city I, and without visiting the city I, my ith bit can never be set, right? So using this, I can just say that mask 1 is equals to mask with the ith bit turned off, right? Because all the other nodes are just the same, and I'm just going from the city j to city I without doing anything else, and the only change in mask which is happening is that the ith bit in mask is turning on. So initially I can just say that the ith bit was off, right? So mask 1 is just mask with the ith bit turned off, which is just saying that mask 1 is mask XOR 1i, right? So this is just a standard way of turning an on bit to off bit, right? Yeah, so this is done, right? I can transition from all the nodes which have a direct edge to the ith node, and the mask value is mask XOR 1i, and this 1i is just 2 to the power I, right? So I can transition from all such values of mask 1 comma j to mask comma I, and the transition is just going to be this: dp of mask I is equals to, so dp of mask I plus equals to dp of mask 1 j, where mask 1 is nothing but mask XOR 2 to the power I, right? And j is a node which has a direct edge to node I, right? And using this, I have essentially completed the solution. This is just the way to do it, and you don't need to do anything else. Finally, your final answer is just going to be dp of 1i minus 1 and n, because that represents the subset where all the cities have been visited exactly once, and finally I am at the nth subset, I am at the nth node, right? Yeah, so with that done, let's just have a look at the code. The code also is not very long, it is a really small code, right? Yeah, so according to the problem, in the input we are getting an n and a m, and finally we are getting the information about all the edges. So that is what I'm doing. I take in nm and I create an adjacency list. So one smart thing which I do here is that when I input the first and the second node, I know that there is an edge from u to v, but instead of adding v in the adjacency list of u, what I do is I add u in the adjacency list of v, and this way I basically have a reversed adjacency list. And now the adjacency list of a particular node u is just storing all the nodes which have a direct edge from the node to u, right? So adj of u stores all nodes which have an edge to you, not from you, right? So that just makes it easy for me to handle my transitions, right? And I do this standard dp stuff. I do memset of -1 for the dp, and I say that my final answer is going to be dp of 2 to the n minus 1 and n minus 1, right? So here the nodes are numbered from 0 to n minus 1. It is zero based indexing, right? And with that done, wait a minute. So did I make any problems here? Yeah, so I assumed 1 based indexing. It's going to be 0 based indexing, right? Right. So this is my solve function. The parameters are a mask and an index. And as I said, the base case is when index is 0. And if index is 0, then I would return 1 only when mask is 1, because that represents that I have only visited the city number 0. And otherwise, I can just return 0, right? And that is the second base case. If the idxth bit of mask is not set, then I can just return 0, because it doesn't make any sense. Since I am visiting idx, then the idx bit of mask has to be set, right? Alright, and this is just the dp part. So if the dp of mask and index is not equals to -1, I am simply returning that. And finally, I'm calculating mask 1 as mask xor 1 idx, which is to say that mask 1 is just mask xor 2 to the power idx, and this just turns off the idxth bit of mask, right? And that is essential, because if I am visiting from a node j to the node idx, then the idx bit has to be turned off, right? And finally, I declare my answer to be 0, and I iterate in the adjacency list of idx. This is essentially the reversed adjacency list which I am making here, and in the reversed adjacency list, I am adding to my answer the solve value of mask 1 comma x, as I have told here. The dp of mask I is plus equals to dp of mask 1j, and finally, I am just returning dp of mask index as my answer, right? And this will work really well. Finally, my right answer is going to be dp of 2 to the n minus 1 and n minus 1, and that is because 2 to the power n minus 1, 2 to the power n minus 1 is just the subset which represents all the nodes from 0 to n minus 1, right? So this completes the solution to the problem. I hope you got to learn something new today, and you got to understand what bit masking is and how to apply dp with bit masking, that too on a graph. So I hope this video was educational for you. Thank you for sticking till the end. Bye bye.